Welcome into Scoops with Danny Mac on Fox 2. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Now tonight we're talking baseball, hockey, and golf. Let's start with baseball. The Cardinals season is underway and opening day is behind us, but it was an opening day that nobody will forget. There were 16 Hall of Famers, the introduction of legends that will finish up this season, and a celebration of Cardinals baseball. Tonight, my guests will include Cardinals analyst Brad Thompson. We'll dive into the return of Albert Pujols right here in St. Louis. Jamie Rivers will join the show and get us ready for the Blues playoff run. And finally, Jay Delsing will come up later. We'll talk about the Masters and major golf news here in St. Louis. We start, though, with baseball. And let's bring in Brad Thompson, my partner on the games and world champion of the 2016. Hey, Brad, great to see you. How pumped are you that baseball is finally back?
I am pumped up, Dan. We talked about this plenty, whether it be on air or off air. The fact that we weren't sure that this was going to happen, or at least happen in a timely manner. So the fact that we have baseball, the season has kicked off, there's so much energy, so much excitement, and so many expectations around this Cardinal ball club, man, I am pumped up.
All right, let's talk about the big three. They're back. You played with them, Albert, Waino, and Yadi. And let's start with Yadi. What is it about Yadi that defines him?
It's winning. I mean, it really, you know Yadi so well, and everything that he does is to win the day. He goes out there, and I think you say the same thing for all three of these guys while you're looking at all of the individual accolades that they're going to build up. But Yadi does everything that day to win. As a pitcher, you know, going out there, he's put in all the prep work already. So if he puts down a pitch, you know it's not just because he's just like, what the heck, I'll try this. He's already put in the prep work. He knows. He dug into all of these hitters. So the guy is just a winner, and he does anything and everything in his ability to make it win the day.
You were teammates in the minors and then in the majors with Adam Wainwright. What defines him?
I mean, the fact that Adam, and I don't have one word for it, but the fact he really reinvented himself, and maybe the one word would be competitor, because this is a guy that a couple of years ago we thought his career was over. I remember him walking off the mound in San Diego, and it felt like that was it. He was throwing the ball as hard as he could. It was like 82 miles an hour, and he just didn't have it. And then he reinvented himself again. He's worked hard, not just on the mound and with his arsenal, although he pitches backwards now. He spots up that cutter. He does a lot of different things really, really well. But he's totally changed his diet. He's changed everything, his sleep patterns, everything that he does, because he truly cares and he wants to compete each and every game that he is out there. So the fact that he is doing what he is doing, being able to pitch this long, going through all of the different things, different injuries. You know how talented some of these guys are that have come up through the minor leagues, yet he is a constant. So I'm so excited for him. I'm excited for this season, and I'm just proud of him, the way that he goes about it.
The reception that Albert has been getting back in St. Louis, it's incredible. So how would you define, if you can, at all, Albert Pujols?
The best. To me, he's the best player I've ever seen personally. He's the best player that I have ever had a chance to not just play alongside of, because I think that that's a fairly easy one to pick out, but he's the best player that I ever played against in my career, like just looking at the opposition. And stuff like that doesn't just happen, okay? We all know that Albert is truly gifted, okay? He was blessed with talents that a lot of people were not blessed with, but it's much further than that. It's the work that he does behind the scenes. It's the fact that he has grown also. Did this at a young age. He elevates his teammates, and now, as he's embarking upon his final year, he's really taken up that mantle of kind of coach also. Like, he realizes that he can help that next generation, that next wave of Cardinal players. So the guy's the best that I've ever been around. And if you are a Cardinal right now, or if you were somebody in spring training who had a chance to be around some of these guys for a little bit, shame on you if you don't pay attention or if you don't ask questions, because they are all there for you. And them being here throughout the organization, I know obviously Albert took a decade away with the Angels, spent some time with the Dodgers, but this organization has been so blessed with knowledge and great players. It would be a shame to not take advantage of those things.
Okay, be honest here. Did you ever think that you would see Albert Pujols back in St. Louis?
I thought that I would see him back in St. Louis driving around on the car on opening day, not as a player, but as a Hall of Famer. I thought that's where we would see Albert last. So the fact that he gets to come home, and this truly is coming home for Albert, it's special. It's special for us as a fan. It's special for me as a fan and as a former teammate and as a broadcaster to get a chance to see these stories write themselves. But no, I didn't. I didn't think that we were going to be given this opportunity. I'm so glad that we were.
All right, hear me out on my idea here. If all three retire after this season, that's a big if the Cardinals see them go, it's the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Put nobody else on the ballot next year. Put them all in. Albert, Yadi, Waino. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. The only problem, here's the problem you run into. I love your idea. One of them's probably going to come back and play again. Because that's who they are. Like, they keep saying, oh, we're done. And then bingo, bango, bongo, they show up and they want to play again. So only problem is somebody might show up and want to play again after a year off, give the old Tom Brady a couple of months. But I love the idea. If they are all done, they should go in together. I mean, we got a chance to see almost 2 decades of Waino and Yadi, and then we saw 11 years of Albert plus this year. They should go in together.
How about this year's Hall of Fame? All deserving candidates. My guess is Matt Holliday goes in. When you think of Holliday, what comes to mind for you?
So I think that Matt Holliday was put in, and he did play alongside with Albert, and he won a championship with Albert in 2011. But he had to really take over that mantle as the centerpiece of a lineup that had World Series aspirations his entire time that he was a St. Louis Cardinal. And as we were talking about Albert before, those are no small shoes to fill, and he filled them so well. I mean, this is a guy that was a threat anytime that he came up. He was one of the best teammates that I've ever had. His impact in the community, while he didn't trumpet what he was doing, he made lasting impacts in the community. He is a no-brainer Cardinal Hall of Famer. The career stands for itself, and it's honestly one of the best long-term deals I think the Cardinals have ever signed on a player, and they got a ton of value out of Holliday, who is going to be a Cardinal for life.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, here we are in the early portion of the season. What's the hardest part of the early part of the season? Is it hitting, defense, pitching? What's the hardest part in April?
Yeah, a lot of times for the hitters, it's getting their timing in. But for pitchers, you're dealing with, you go from Florida to the Midwest, right? So you're dealing with trying to get a different feel for the baseball. You also have a shortened spring training, so guys weren't lengthened out as much. So it's really just trying to stay within yourself, get a feel, and then even if you don't have that feel, being able to battle through it. A lot of pitchers, too, might deal with early this season. They might deal with that little dead arm period that generally comes for some guys in spring training. You might have to navigate through that during the beginning of the regular season. Fortunately, you have expanded rosters. You're going to have 15 pitchers, so that ends up helping a little bit. But it's going to be timing. It's going to be repetition. But you know what? Everybody else is going through it. So who can make the adjustments quickly? And one thing that doesn't slack early in the season is defense. And the Cardinals have fantastic defense, which should be able to give them a big boost early on.
Let's go to Ollie Marmol. He is the youngest manager in baseball at the age of 35, and he's managing 3 future Hall of Famers, and expectations are to go out with a World Series. So with all that, how do you think this plays out?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that Ollie has going for him is the players trust him. And he talks about that a lot. He talks about trust, and he talks about knowing that everything that we say here is for us, and we're going to communicate and we're going to talk, and sometimes you got to check your feelings, right? No matter who you are, but there's going to be honesty within the building, and I think if you have that, if you're honest with your players, and you have this roster that he has, he's going to have a lot of success. I mean, there are going to be times where maybe some of your guys, maybe it's Albert who has been struggling a little bit, you got to give him some time, or maybe it's Yadi, and he's already talked about Kisner's going to get a little bit more playing time. Waino, maybe he wants to throw 150 pitches and complete a game, but you know you need him in September. It comes down to honesty. If he's talking to his players and he has the communication like he already has, Ollie's going to be great. He's a fantastic communicator. He's a great student of the game. He continues to learn. So his age is not a factor for me. I know it's a great talking point for all of us. 35 years old, it's ridiculously impressive, and the first manager I've covered that is younger than me, but his age isn't a factor. You talk to him about baseball, you talk to him about situations, about different things. There's nothing green about Ollie Marmol.
Hey, Brad, thanks so much.
Thank you. It's going to be a blast.
Up next, the Blues are looking for a long playoff run. We'll talk about it next on Scoops with Danny Mac here on Fox 2.
Scoops with Danny Mac on Fox 2 is brought to you by Ryan Kelly,
the home loan expert, Schnucks, Rottler Pest Control, Stratum Structural Systems, and Hair Saloon for Men. Welcome back to Scoops with Danny Mac on Fox 2. A reminder, there's daily content on the website, scoopswithdannymac.com. Podcasts, features, articles. If you've missed Bernie Miklasz and his writing, you can see it all daily on scoopswithdannymac.com. Welcome back to the show. We switch gears, it's hockey. And the Blues are finishing up their regular season, and the playoffs are just around the corner. Can they make another run to the Stanley Cup? Also, let's talk about some of the great storylines that have played out this year as we bring in Jamie Rivers, who is on the pre, the post, and game coverage of St. Louis Blues hockey. Jamie, great to see you. Let's start with you. Pre-game and game analysis, post-game. What's it been like for you?
I love it. It's two different worlds because at the desk, obviously you're breaking down plays that have already happened, or you're setting up in the pregame to, so the viewers can have an idea of what to expect, what the Blues need to do, and I love doing that. I love breaking things down. I love jumping on the telestrator and showing fans, what the Blues are trying to accomplish, or maybe what they did right, or sometimes what went wrong. For me, it's all about educating the fan base, and I just love it. Now, the in-game stuff, that's a whole other animal, and it's a lot of fun, especially down between the benches where, the guys are rumbling past you. I mean, it feels like you're sitting on the bench again watching the game, and things happen so fast. And I know you know this from your experience in baseball and in hockey, for all of it. You got to get in, you got to get out. You have to get something through to the fans quickly without getting in the way of John Kelly and his call, which, I can't say enough about John Kelly, just how amazing he is on the call and just how easy it is. For those ones where I'm between the bench, I have no visual contact with John Kelly. So it is all about feel. You get a feel for your partner and his cadence, so how he calls the game. And John's so great at it that it's really made it a lot of fun for me. Let's review the year that's happened so far for the Blues. You played with Chris Pronger. Did you ever imagine seeing his number being lifted to the rafters of the Enterprise Center? When you first started playing together, I played against Chris Pronger in junior hockey. We were both 16 years old. We played in the OHL, and then we both get drafted the same year. And, there's good players. There's great players. And there's lots of guys who were drafted that same year that are not getting their numbers raised up into the rafters. So when Chris came to St. Louis, he had a bumpy road in Hartford. He had some good times, some bad times. And he came here, and obviously it was a rough start for him because of the situation of being traded for Brendan Shanahan. But about 4 or 5 years into his tenure here with the Blues, I knew there was something special. And then for him to go on and do what he did, post-Blues career, and then win a cup in Anaheim, and then he captained the team in Philly to such great success, his Team Canada gold medals, and just everything he accomplished afterward. I think there was absolutely no doubt in my mind, or anybody's mind for that matter, that his number 44 needed to go up in the rafters. I'm just glad the St. Louis Blues did it. It's been a really interesting year with Vladimir Tarasenko. There was the trade request, and was he healthy or not? Now we have an answer. So how would you describe the season for Tarasenko so far? This is exactly what Vladdy needed to do. From a personal standpoint, it's fantastic. He's totally rejuvenated his career. He's a go-to guy again for the Blues. He's a dynamic player. And what I've seen out of Vladimir Tarasenko has been a different level of leadership. And I think that everybody focused on him saying he wanted the C before Ryan O'Reilly got it. Well, I don't blame him for wanting to be the captain. And I think that what he's done here recently is he showed that he deserves the A on his jersey by his leadership that he's had for the younger guys. He leads by example. He's out there, he's finishing checks, he's back checking, he's playing responsible defensively, he's putting points on the board. I think he's been an amazing ambassador for the other Russian players who have joined this team. He's been a great conduit between the coaching staff and these young guys. You look at Pavel Buchnevich, the success he's had, Ivan Barbashev, the success he's having, Toropchenko, the great run he's had. I don't think that's a coincidence that Vladimir Tarasenko is having a great season at the same time as those players. I think Vladdy's been awesome. Let's go to the head coach, Craig Berube, so he gets an extension. From a player's perspective, how does a coach's message stay fresh year in and year out? Well, I think it just stays constant. And that's the biggest thing for me as a player, was not to have a coach try and reinvent the wheel every year. I think that the players know exactly what Craig Berube expects. I think we as a fan base know exactly what to expect from Craig Berube, and that's what makes him special. And to a man, those players respect him, and they don't always like what he has to say. They're not always happy when he voices his displeasure, but they respect it. And so I think his message of just being completely honest, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, doesn't matter. The players really appreciate the honesty. And in any sport, that's what they want. The players want the manager, the coach, whoever it is, to be honest with them so that they know when things are going well. And when things are going poorly, they want to know how to fix it and get back into the good books. And I think that that's the one thing that Craig Berube and his staff have done, is making sure the players know exactly where they stand.
I've always felt that the Stanley Cup is the toughest championship to win in any sport. Why will a player give up everything to try and get their name on that cup?
It's bred into you. It just is. I remember being, 4 years old, the farthest back I can remember, of wanting to lift the Stanley Cup. And, as you go up through youth hockey and then junior or college, whatever path you take, it's just continuously bred into you. And you think about the players who have played, who are incredible Hall of Famers, who do not have their name on the Stanley Cup. And then you look at it as an opportunity for yourself to get your name on that cup. You're willing to do pretty much anything there is to make sure you can do it.
Okay, speaking of the cup, can the Blues do it again? Can they win the Stanley Cup?
I think they can. Look, things are going to have to line up exactly perfect for them. They're going to have to get a little bit of luck, but they had that in 2019 too. Nothing was perfect in 2019. Even their playoff run, it wasn't perfect. You needed Jordan Binnington to stand on his head. You needed a big goal from Pat Maroon. You needed a great performance in Game 7 against the Bruins. All of that had to happen. I think the Blues have the elements in place that they can make them successful. I think, whether it's Ville Husso or Jordan Binnington down the stretch, it doesn't matter. Both guys are qualified goaltenders. The advantage I think the Blues have is they have a lot of guys that are left over from that cup run. And again, we go back to the experience and being able to tell the story of winning a Stanley Cup. That goes a long way.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Danny.
Up next, we talk golf with Jay Delsing. This is Scoops with Danny Mac on Fox 2. Scoops with Danny Mac on Fox 2 is brought to you by Lordo's Diamonds, On the Run, STLTaxLawyer.com, Triad Bank, and Lou Fuse. Welcome back to the show. The Masters finished up last week, and Scottie Scheffler right now is the hottest golfer on the planet as he took home his first green jacket. It gets you excited about what's to come here in St. Louis concerning golf. Let's bring in former PGA Tour player Jay Delsing. Jay, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Danny. Yeah, great to be here.
Well, let's start with this. Why is the Masters such an incredible aspect of the game of golf?
Oh my gosh, it's the first, one of the things that's so intriguing about Augusta is that all of the other major venues change from year to year. At Augusta, it's always the same. And one of the things that makes the golf course so difficult, Danny, is everybody knows where the flag sticks are going to be. Everybody practices from the same areas. They know where to hit it. It's just how much control are you going to have on your golf ball that week and how well are you going to putt. It's just really hard. And then the greens are just insane. So your touch and feel around the greens and where you leave your shots, where your misses, where you can play your misses from, it's everything out there.
Well, as golf venues have changed, like you said, how has Augusta stood the test of time?
There's an allure that I guess I'm trying to explain, and I'm not doing a very good job of it, but there's an allure about this place. First of all, it's absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen a place prettier. There's no blade of grass. There's no litter. It's just this pristine green area, this great history that kind of wraps itself around the event, and it's just beautiful. And then you get the fact that it's a major championship. Everybody wants to be in that champion's locker room. They want to have their name etched on that trophy. It just gets to you. It's hard to describe, but it's there.
Finally, Jay, the folks at Ascension, they don't stop. They are stepping up to renovate Normandy Golf Club. It's been around forever. When you heard that, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was great. And it's going to be a Jack Nicklaus signature golf course. Jack has graciously donated all of his services and the services of the Nicklaus design team. Tom O'Toole has a huge part in the Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association, Beyond Housing, and those folks are doing a great job there to be involved. And then Ascension jumps on board. And that's where stuff can really start moving. These guys, they don't do anything subtly, man. They jump in and they make waves. And so the Ascension Charity Classic is involved. They're going to use that for the Advocate PGA, maybe the qualifier, maybe even hosting the event. They'll have some satellite events that are going to coincide with future Ascension Charity Classics that are going to be at Norwood, and it all stays in North County. And it also, Danny, golf is a community game, as we just said, and that golf course can be a place where the community can hang out. They not only playing golf, they can have lunch. It's just a beautiful place to hang out. So it's really going to be interesting to see what Jack Nicklaus does to the Normandy property. I can't wait.
Hey, Jay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
For Jay Delsing, Brad Thompson, and Jamie Rivers, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next week on Fox 2.